I'll be right with you, sir. That is flawless. Can I help you? Hey, Agumon. Right, Agumon. Hi, how you doing? I haven't seen you since high school. What are you doing? Well, they started a Digimon show without me. That sucks. So, what are you doing now? I'm living in the dumpster back in the back alley. Do you think I could sleep at your place? Yeah, there's room on my couch. Alright, let me close up. I'll take you home. Awesome! Back for another Obscure Reviews, and we're actually doing our first callback video. I'm on a couple of Mystery Science Theater fan pages on Facebook, and a friend of mine that I met on there just a few days ago requested that I show off my display, the way I show off my Mystery Science Theater episodes. And I don't know if I told you guys this last time we did this video, because it's basically the same video with new material. But I like to display my episodes in order of appearance. Like Season 1, Episode 1, Season 1, Episode 2, and so on. They don't release them like that in the box sets. And I understand why now, but at the time it was just strange to me. So I figured they're not going to do it, so why shouldn't I? There's no reason why I can't do it. I'm going to do what I enjoy to do. So suck it, whoever doesn't want me to do it this way. But a long time ago I did a video about the cover art for the cases for individual episodes. A buddy of mine by the name of Doug, I will link his art in the description, or at least his Facebook page, or whatever he's comfortable with once I find out. It'll be in the description. I'm not going to put it on screen because I won't know in time before I'm done editing this video. But where you can find him, I'll put it in the description. He has done every artistic cover for me that I've asked, and he's awesome. I couldn't pick a better artist for the style of what I was trying to go for, and what the guys at Shout Factory seem to go for. It's not the same guy as what Shout Factory releases, obviously, but this guy's pretty awesome. And I'm going to show you every one of these art pieces, because I've collected a lot since the first time I did the video where I showed you guys how to do this. But we're going to go through a little review.
In a red jumpsuit, he did a good job cleaning up the place, but his bosses didn't like it, so they shot him in his face. And soon as you see Mitchell can't control. Will the movies begin or end? Because he'll use those special parts to make his robot friends.
Robot roll call, Kamba. Gypsy.
Hi, girl.
Tom Servo. Oh,
What a cool guy.
He eats and breathes in other science facts. Then repeat to yourself, it's just a show. I should really just relax. For Mystery Science Theater 3000.
Tom Cruise is Dr. John.
Society owes me.
Fortunately, he has his theme music on 8-track.
Shrapnel fire, boys.
Okay, stop. Everyone go up a shirt size.
Hang a parachute, put up beer can collection.
Hey, leave my father out of this.
Just stop and aim, you idiot. Mitchell! Now down.
Show you like this, like I did last time. And then I'm going to show you an overhead. We might cut between the two, but if you're seeing me doing this one and then you see me doing the overhead one, they're two different ones because cameras and editing and fun stuff. But here's what you do. Let's see. We've got 4 new art pieces today. So let's find what we need. What you're going to need is none of those. Boy, did I grab the right ones? Swamp diamonds. So we got 4 of them. We got swamp diamonds. We've got the gunslinger. We've got the rebel set. And then we've got the release 2-pack because here, this one's a little weirder than the others. I think it was the 25th anniversary volume. They released a disc that had 3. Well, wait, no, they released a disc that had 2 movies on it, but the case displays 3 movies, and that kind of bugged me. So I got a case for Gorgo, Mitchell, and The Brain That Wouldn't Die. Now, if it was just Mitchell and The Brain That Wouldn't Die as a 2-pack, I'm fine with that because that's like the last episode of Joel, followed both episode-wise and on this disc by Mike's first episode, The Brain That Wouldn't Die. So it's Joel's last, Mike's first. If that was a disc by itself, that's awesome. And if Gorgo was by itself, that's awesome. And they are. Disc-wise, they're separate. But they didn't release it in this form. Like, it's a 2-disc thing, and that kind of bugged me. So I had my buddy Doug make a case art for the 2-pack for Mitchell and The Brain That Wouldn't Die. And I'm going to have him make another one for Gorgo. And I'm not getting rid of this artwork because you don't get rid of free art. But when I get the Gorgo one, I'm going to just slide it over this one. So Gorgo has his own case, and then Mitchell and Brain That Wouldn't Die has one case. So we're going to set that aside for now. Set all these aside for now. And what I did before I had artwork for it was I would just take a little piece of notebook paper, cut it up to fit in there, and then write the episode number and the episode. So, when I did that, what I didn't realize is that I made myself a template. So, we're taking out the Rebel set right here. And I use that as my base. So we move the other ones we don't want to cut up out of the way. And then we line up the edge of the art part with the, well, let's see, how do we want to do this? You want to cut the vertical sides first. That's a biggie. But you want to save as much of the art as you can. So what I like to do is, you can tell by how long it's been in there, you can see where the spine of the case will be. So we want to use that as our idea for, like, if we don't want the artwork to bend, that's where the artwork needs to end in the art. Luckily, my buddy Doug lined it up very perfectly, so I don't have to worry about the art bleeding into the spine at all. But we do have to cut just a smidge of art on this side. But it's not enough to really do any damage to the artwork. So we're going to go ahead and do that. And I'm going to get my glasses for this because I don't want to screw this up. If you have something flat that you can put it all against, or something to just steady your hand or the paper, that's really a good call. But I don't have anything like that, so I'm just going to have to eyeball it as best I can and hope for the best. And you gotta be really careful when you're cutting because make sure you're cutting on something that it's okay to slice up. I'm using this old table. I've had it for years. I don't care if it gets a couple slices in it. But if you're using a table you don't want to cut up, make sure you have like a cutting board or some spare cardboard or just something that you don't have to worry about damaging underneath. And also, make sure your blade is really sharp when you cut. Be very careful when you're cutting because you don't want to cut yourself. Because if the blade isn't sharp, your paper is going to bunch up. And that's going to look really crummy, and you don't want that. So now, that side is cut. And that's the most important side you want to cut. That's the side you really want to be your most careful with. Now this other side, I don't have to worry about because this is going to be the front part of the artwork. This back side is just blank. We don't need it. We're fine. So, if we miss that a little bit, there's nothing to worry about because that can just whatever. But you do still want to be a little careful on it because if you're a perfectionist like me, you don't want any of the actual case to show underneath the artwork. So, you still want to be careful where you cut. And I screwed that up just a little bit, but like I said, it's not enough for me to really worry about. It matters more for the cutting we're going to do on the top and bottom a little later. But for right now, I think we're okay. Bam. Okay. Another thing I want to point out is that I only do this for the videos that were released by Rhino because they never got any artwork. And obviously there's some exceptions, like the 3-pack we just talked about. But I don't feel the need to do it with the Rhino, or with the Shout Factory ones, because they've already got artwork. And they're fine and they're beautiful. But here's the thing. Just because I'm happy with the Shout Factory doesn't mean you need to be happy with it. If you know an artist that you think can do a better job, you go up to him and say, hey, here's some money. Be sure you pay them, because art is not cheap to make. So it should not be cheap to get. This guy does me a colossal favor of selling these to me for $5 a pop. And they're definitely worth 20 a pop a piece. But he knows I'm very poor, so he cuts me a break. And I really appreciate that. But if you want artwork other than what you get in any kind of movie or DVD or whatever, you can go ahead and go to your favorite artist and say, hey, I don't like the art that came with this movie. Can you do your vision of it? Or this is what I want in this artwork. Can you do that? More often than not, they're going to say, sure. How does that look? Okay, that looks good. Now, we just cut these edges so it would fit in the case. And this is a part that a lot of people might argue with me on how to do next. See, now that we've got that side, we can use the plastic as our guide to cut the tops off. So, but we want to be much more careful cutting here, because if we screw this up, we could damage the case. So you want to gently cut along the plastic edge. And when you're pulling your blade along the cut, push towards the edge of the DVD and not towards the plastic, because there's a little lip on the DVD case that almost tries to stop you from coming off. And that's a great help in lining this up, because that almost keeps your blade in place while you're cutting. So you want to do that on the front side and the back side. And then half the time when you do that, when you get to the spine, the damage from just cutting will be enough to just rip it off. Sometimes it won't, and you'll have to be a little careful and go slip, slip, slip until it comes loose, and you just want to rip it off. You want to be a little more careful on the spine, because there's a lot less plastic to work with. And there's a lot less room for your hands to hold things. It's much easier to hurt yourself doing it that way. And there you go. That's the Rebel set. Now, the last thing you can do is go one of two ways. See, I always write down the spine the same stuff that I write on the front. The episode number and the episode title. Now, you can take a pen and go ahead, and you can see while you've been cutting, a spine has formed on your artwork. So you can go ahead and write down what the episode is there. Or you can do what I do, because I'm lazy. You can just go ahead and cut that slit out and just slide it in on top of it, which is what I'm going to do right here. But that should really just be a placeholder. Eventually you really want to just go ahead and take a good solid pen and just write down on the artwork page what it is. But if you don't want to ruin the artwork, go ahead and do what I'm doing with this, slicing the edge of this. But this is a little harder to do because you got to hold it straight so it doesn't slip off on you. And you want to be very careful, and you really have nothing to guide yourself on cutting here. So you just have to hope you're cutting right without damaging it. Especially on your second slice, there's a lot less paper to work with on the one edge. But we got this, and that's going to go in there. Slip in the edge piece. And the hardest part on that is making sure that it's on the spine, because it likes to move around. So what I would do is like lift up the plastic part to open it up and use your fingers to just guide it in there until it's where you want it to be, and very carefully make sure it's on the spine like you want it to be, and then close it up. And there you go. I'm going to be showing off and showing you what my buddy Doug can do, and showing you what you can ask for the artist at your convention, or any friends you might have. Or maybe you want to try something like this yourself. Say you want to draw your own artwork. You go right ahead. Get some of your sketchbook paper and just draw a little art piece. In that scenario, what I would recommend doing is taking a DVD you have, putting a piece of paper over it, drawing how big the case cover is, so you know how much space you have to work with on your art piece. But that's it. That's it for today, I guess. So until next time, this is the Geek saying good journey.
In the not too distant future, next Sunday AD, there was a guy named Joel, not too different from you or me. He worked at the Mnemonic Institute, just another face in a red jumpsuit. He did a good job cleaning up the